Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Listening to a little bit of Hate Sphere. If you've never heard of Hate Sphere, these guys are fantastic. Amazing band. If I'm not mistaken, from Denmark. If I'm not mistaken. Which I could be. Yeah. I don't believe I am, but we could be. What are we doing today? Welcome. My name is Tyler. Welcome to the AmpSim show on the AmpSim universe. And it's a simple name show for just a bunch of AmpSim nerds sitting around talking about the tech and everything else that surrounds it in the universe here. Talking about strings and pickups and drum software and keyboard software. We're going to talk a little bit about TuneTrack's Metal Month. I am trying to get my I'm being straight up with you guys. I'm trying to get my anxiety down here right now. Up. It's way up. So I'm very fidgety. Last few days have been very fidgety. Just had some some stuff going on and a lot of stress on this side of the mic these days. Sorry guys. I hate getting an eyelash in your eye, and then you gotta it's a whole big spiel. You gotta take off the glasses and rub, and then it's like, did it get it? Did it get it? Did it get it? I think I got it. And you always pull an extra one or two or seven out at the same time. Yeah. So what are we doing today? Hi Pedro, how are you? Good to see you. Oh, just trying to get these blinds closed here, as I have. I don't like putting bright lights out in my neighborhood, like these lights. I don't like that people from the street can see it, because I live in a shitty neighborhood and I don't want people breaking into my house thinking I have like oodles of expensive audio or video equipment in here. These are like fucking $20 Amazon lights, boys. Pardon me. Gotta take a big breath. All right. Hopefully you guys are doing great. What are we doing today? I said that 4 times now and I've yet to get to it. Now, what we're doing today is very simple. We are going to be using some free AmpSims with paid impulse responses. And you might be thinking, well, why the fuck do we care? Why do we necessarily care about that? Well, we're going to explain why we care about it and why you should care about this particular combination of things. And this is designed... I constantly see these comments on user groups when a new plugin comes out. And if the price goes up even 5 cents from the last one, it's very common. And you know, I'm not going to say specifically which developer, but we all know which developer has the whiniest fan base. We all know which one it is. And let's be honest, they have the whiniest fan base, but they also have probably the largest fan base as well. So you're going to get, when you get a progressively larger fan base in 2024, you're always going to get that very large group. The group of entitled people gets larger and larger and larger, and therefore we get the whininess syndrome. And one of the whiniest comments I see all the time is, this thing is too expensive. These things are getting too damn expensive. Oh, these things are getting so expensive. Here's a few things. Number one, the world does not cater to your particular budget. If only it did, then you'd have a Ferrari or you'd have a big old mansion. I mean, if the world catered to my budget, guys, this mic would not be this mic. This guitar would, well, I'd probably have this guitar. It's a cheapie, but it's a goodie. And I would probably have a nicer setup. I'd have a Range Rover out in the driveway. This is a decaf coffee, by the way. You're like, how are you drinking coffee and trying to manage your anxiety? Well, I got a shaky hand right now, guys. Woo. Just woke up. I took the day off work today because I was actually not feeling very well. And I woke up from actually trying to sleep off a bit of a headache. And then I got up and I was a little bit... I was like, I should stream, but... This doesn't give me the jitters. So yeah, anyways, just to answer your question before, you might be thinking that. All right, so number 2, here's the second thing you're going to do if you're on a lower budget. Instead of complaining, just don't complain. Just use what you have. It's use what you have, folks. These things are not video games. is not Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You don't need to own each and every one. These are not video games. You don't have to own them all. You don't have to have every suite. You don't have to have every plugin. You do not have to. I'm going to show you one surefire fucking way that you can get a ton of different tones out of just one or two plugins that happen to be free. You don't need any money for amp sims, but then the same principle that we're going to work on for the free sims here also applies to any paid sims you might have. Like even if you've got your favorite sim is Neural DSP's Nameless Suite, fine. You don't need to buy them all. What you do need to maybe consider doing is buying more IR packs. And IR packs are about, I don't know, about, what is it, 90% less expensive than an amp sim. You can get IR packs for free. You can get IR packs for $5.99 for premium IR packs. And we're going to be talking about what makes a premium IR pack as well, in my opinion. And if you're in the comments or in the chat, by the way, say hi. I'm not going to bite. It always makes for a better stream when we talk a little bit more about it. Now, a third thing. One thing you don't want to do is go on your favorite developer's user group and be like, and bitch about it. Don't price bitch. Don't price bitch, because I can assure you that if we're even want to talk about, say, for example, Fortin Nameless Suite, it's just on my mind right now. Modeled for that plugin, we figured it was about I think it was between $25,000 and $30,000 worth of gear that was needed to model all of that effectively. And all the gear involved with that setup, the cabinet, the speakers, each individual microphone, the preamps that everything was, right down to the power amplifier that was required to shoot the EIRs, etc. Not even taking into account the coding time for these absolute fucking monster geniuses to do what they do. But just the gear involved was like I think it was $23,000 or $24,000 or something like that. And that was, and so you're bitching about $129 for a plugin that gives you access to, roughly about $20,000 worth of equipment. It's so fucking stupid. And then the comment often it tends to be, well, I'm a broke student. I can't afford all this. No one's saying that you can, dear. You know what I mean? If you're a broke student, study fucking harder, get your fucking education, get a job, and then buy yourself more plugins. The end of the story. Also, shop sales. Sales. You don't have to buy everything when it comes out. And sometimes a lot of developers, minus a few, will do intro pricing where they slash the price by 70% just to get a whole bunch of units there, get the influencers going, get people moving on it and talking about it on social media and forums and whatever. And that's a good way to do things too. Shop sales, guys. There is probably about 10 different plugins out there right now that I would love to have in my arsenal, but I don't need them. I just want them. And I'm not going to go and buy, every plugin at full price just for the sake of promoting that plugin in a stream, just to maybe make the developer a couple of sales, even maybe a couple people from a stream buy a plugin. Then effectively, I just bought a plugin to give them business. But you know what? You guys understand what I'm saying. If I don't already have it, being that I am on a very fixed income right now, I would love to own the Neural DSP Soldano. I don't have it because I don't need it, because I have 4 other plugins that do that really well that I like, but I would really like it. You know what I mean? So next time it goes on sale, I'm going to snipe. Once every year, I'll go to different developers. Even if it's a developer, for example, that does give us free stuff, I still shop during sales because I don't need everything for free either. If I see a good deal, I'll just go buy it. And then sometimes my friends or developers will be like, why'd you buy it? Well, I bought it because I want to support, and it's awesome. All right, what are we doing today? We're going to be using a few different amps, free amps, free pedals, and paid IRs for the most part today. We're going to see how many different tones we can get out of a couple different amp sims. Our amp sims on the block today, we have 3. First on the list here is the Nimbrini Audio Crunk. I can say I'd like to toot my own horn, if I may, that I was behind V2 when I was working with Igor. I suggested we do Crunk V2. Give it this is not all of my idea. This is obviously Igor's work, but I was the one that brought it to him and said, hey man, Crunk is pretty awesome, but it looks kind of old and dated. We should make it look cooler and give it a couple more features and throw it back out there. And a lot of people liked it a lot more. It was awesome as it was, though. I want to say I didn't do a damn thing except for suggest that we just make it look nicer. And he did that, and he did that, and I think the plugin has come some way. Now, we're going to start with Crunk. We're going to turn off the internal IR, which is not bad, by the way. It's not a bad IR at all. We are going to get Nadir going here. Now this is, I'm just going to start with a particular impulse response that I'm very familiar with. My personal favorite. This is the EGA 412 414 Hyperreal mix from Dr. Bonker's Sound Lab. It's my favorite IR. I use it with everything to get going. So we're going to get a tone going. Pardon me. Little burp skis here. Then we're going to get what are we going to do here? Pedal. For pedals today, we have free pedals. We have the Sword. We have Forte Boost 22. We have the Shoeless Drive from Resington and Wavemind. We have the X Drive pedal from Wavemind. We have the Big Stuff fuzz pedal from Nembrini. We have the Nembrini Audio Black, the Nembrini Audio Klon Minotaur. What is it? Taste the Beast. All right, and then we're going to go over here back to our Crunk, and we're going to get started with a tone. That went really well for a guitar that I didn't tune. I didn't tune this at all before the stream. My hands are clammy as fuck right now, boys. Had a weird day. It's been a weird day. It was one of those days. If you ever had one of those days where you woke up and you're like, I cannot go to work today. I just cannot do it. Got a headache. I'm better off using one of my sick days. I've got a few paid sick days. Used one of them. And then by about 11:30, I was like, shit, I feel better. I should probably go into work. But it was already taken care of. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to deal with it. We're going to stay here. So that was one of those days. I'm just trying to kind of wear that off. Okay, let's get going. So whenever I use an IR, a loader with an Nembrini Audio, this happens with a lot of different developers, by the way. You can use an impulse response and a loader with anything. With most amp sims. There are some where it's like hardwired in, a few of them out there, but most of them you can use. However, sometimes you'll know when you kind of disable the onboard cab section, there'll be a bit of a volume drop. There's nothing you can really do about that, but what you can do about it is when you throw in the loader, you can just kind of run the gain up a little bit to get that back in order. That sounds pretty good to my ears. This sounds great so far. And now edge and mode, these are a couple different fun little things that, again, that was all Igor. He kind of did that on his end. That sounds, sorry I blasted you guys on that one a little tiny bit. But man, so far so good today. And this is a paid impulse response, as mentioned, from Dr. Bonker's Sound Lab. And then we're going to be going from, I got a bunch of new impulses this week, and I kind of dug up some stuff from my locker. I've got some stuff from ML Sound Lab, actually. Thanks to Kai over there at ML Sound Lab for sending over some impulse responses for us to check out. One of the, I've checked out plenty. I think he maybe was under the impression that I had never checked any of their stuff out, but I was fairly clear that I did, but sometimes it doesn't resonate. Maybe it was miscommunication, but he did send me one thing that I already had. Don't do that. Gotta tell cats not to fight. Share the space together. Enjoy it. Anyways, he sent over some cool stuff. We're going to check those out in a moment. Now, I'm going to show you that we're not going to go too far away from the center points. The tone's going to stay pretty much how it is. And then we're going to see tones that we can get with just different IRs. Instead of thinking, well, I want to need a whole different amp or a whole different plugin for a different tone, you just change the cabinet, and it will phenomenally change the sound of, if you're not aware, most people are aware that the cabinet changes the sound, and the cabinet, in fact, controls a lot of your sound. Hang on a sec. I'm looking through here. The best way is to get the amp sims you want is wait for all sales. That is absolutely correct. Wait for all sales. Always wait for sales and see what's going on. So what we're doing today, if you weren't there, there are a lot of IR companies out there that are having sales right now. A few of the ones that I trust, and when you say you do trust, I mean that I trust do things the right way. I know they are physically putting microphones on a cabinet. They are not using black box wizardry of any kind. They're not using, EQs and signal software. They're not trying to do something. They're not giving you something that doesn't exist. They're physically holding a microphone or inserting it into their little mic robot that they put in front of the cab. If you don't know what that is, go and check it out on YouTube. There's a robot that kind of just zzz, 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 and you shoot them as it goes. Pretty cool. Anyways, but that's what I mean by, people with real know-how of how to mic a cabinet, know-how of everything involved, real people, human beings that do real actual work. That's what I mean. And you might be thinking, well, is there another way? Yes, there is. I'm not going to really discuss it because I don't like it. I like when people physically hold a microphone, put it next to a cabinet, and shoot the IR, and then give that to me because that feels more realistic than somebody that's trying to recreate the IR or the sound of a speaker with software only. No putting a mic on anything. That I don't like, and that's just me. You can like what you like. Anyways, in this particular case, I trust companies like, Bogren Digital. I trust York Audio, Ownhammer, Red Wires. You guys can name your favorite in the comments. ML Sound Lab. Miko knows what he's doing. Dr. Bonker Sound Lab, one of my best buddies, and he is just a fantastic human being and extraordinarily smart when it comes to the making of impulse responses. So, there are a lot of human beings out there that are really good at shooting IRs, and you might find on, for example, Tone Hunt. We're going to get to that later. Go on Tone Hunt, and you'll find a lot of people that shoot their own IRs. It's kind of a mixed bag of people that actually put a mic on a cabinet, or people that kind of do things the black box wizardry way. But it's still, even the black box way can still sound good. I just cannot vouch for any of that because I'm not really at this point looking for any new impulse response developers. If you know of a newer one that's out there that's really good, please do recommend, because I would love to try it out. If you're curious about any particular specific impulse response developer, please ask in the comments. Just name drop it, and I will tell you exactly what I know about that company and how I feel about their work. No problem. There's only a couple of companies out there that I can say that I'm maybe a little negative towards, but for all things considered, all the top of the heap, the top companies are all doing things different ways, but high quality ways. So your money is going to be well spent across a vast amount of these lovely people doing hard work for not a lot of money. These impulse response packs are not big, gigantic business. This is a labor of love, folks. For a lot of these people that do it, labor of love. This is not a millionaire business. There's a lot of hard work. Tone Mission. I heard that. I heard about Tone Mission. Is that the impulse response packs that are like $100 though? Because that is not, I am not prepared to spend that on an impulse response. All right, going back to it. So we're going to start moving around now. I got the tone I want with the cabinet, with the cabinet that I trust. Now I'm going to go out and I'm going to explore and experiment and have some fun. So we're going to go to Celestion first, and I'm going to go with the Lynchback 412. And we're just going to screw around a little bit until we find something that we really like. Can you hear the difference between that right away, though? Right away, I can hear the difference between those. Like, it's hugely different. So for this, and you're going to notice that sometimes you're going to need to, like, maybe move things around a little bit to add or subtract something that you do or don't like. That's the Celestion Lynchback 412. I don't mind it. By the way, the other plugins we're going to be checking out today, we are going to be checking out the L12X solid state amplifier from Audiority, another product that I worked on with Audiority and Luca. I've worked on a bunch of different freeware over the years, and man, I'm super proud of having worked on freeware. I love freeware. I love being able to help developers with freeware. And if you put out a really, really good piece of freeware, it's going to be good business for your company. Something that's good, solid, useful, reliable, versatile, something that there's with a wow factor. And people, if you build it, people will come. And lastly, we're going to be working with NAMM Universal a little bit towards the end of the stream. We're already kind of a good ways in. And I haven't played a lot of guitar. We're doing a lot of chatting today, but it is what it is. You might be noticing that this particular plugin does not have a boost involved. I can tell you one thing about Nembrini Audio. He has changed things with the new plugin. I can say one thing about it. The new plugin he's coming out with is going to involve a new UI. The number one complaint that I got from artists, the number one complaint I got from watchers, viewers, readers with the old Honest Amp Sim Reviews website that we used to do, the number one complaint about Nembrini Audio was that there's no boost section. And yeah, it's super easy to do it on your own. So easy. But I once had a reputable influencer tell me, sorry man, I don't like this amp sim. This wasn't not this one particular, one of the other ones that Nembrini Audio did. And he just said, no, it's got to have a boost or I'm not interested. I'm like, well, you just got to build a signal chain. He's like, I'm not really interested in having to put together a signal chain. If it's not in the box, I don't want to use it. Okay. And that's where it stands. At this point, I think its market standard has now become industry, and market standard is now you have to have a boost section. And if you do have a boost or a pedal or a pre-effect section, you got to have something that boosts the amp in a modern way. You have to. Otherwise, the plugin is like you look at the new Tonality West Borland that has a fuzz pedal instead of a boost pedal. And I really feel that if they had thrown a tube screamer in there, more people would have dug it. Same thing with Archetype Tom Morello and a few other plugins that came out without boosts involved in the pre-effects. And even though those artists don't use that, it would have been a smart business and marketing decision to throw it in anyway and make it work. And that way you're not going to alienate some of the people who are just really hardwired to stay inside those suites. All right, we're going to move around for impulse responses a little bit. We're going to keep going through this list here. I like that one a lot more. Okay, so we're going to stick with that for a minute. And this is the Celestion Lynchback 412 pack. And this is the closed back that I'm using currently. If you've never checked out Celestion, please do. Wonderful company that's been around for like 100 years making speakers. So they know a few things. And they have an in-house crew that's shooting their own in-house IRs. And to shoot these particular packs, they have a few different packs. They have their in-house packs, their artist packs, and their what they call their backline heroes. Now, I'll explain really quickly. The in-house packs are all made with basically they take all Celestion speakers. This dude in the background, like, you're killing me, Tobias, killing me right now. They took all their speakers in-house and they put them, they took all their speakers that they make at Celestion now and in from the past. They took all of those speakers and shot packs with all of the speakers in their own homemade cabinets. So they went and they built their own 412, 212, and 112 cabinets and load those speakers into that cabinet, shoot the pack, pull the speakers out, put the new ones, put a different set in, and keep going. Now, the backline heroes is when in-house they shoot these packs with their speakers and actual branded cabinets that they work in unison with another company. If you go there, you'll see packs with Black Star, Angle, Orange, Sewer, and a number of other companies. And these are really cool, really cool packs. I like these a little bit more because I find personally, just me personally, I find that their in-house stuff lacks a little bit of that warmth and that feeling that I like from other cabinets maybe. The Angle stuff I have not got yet. I'm waiting for the sale. I'm going to pick that stuff up for myself. And everything, we have a lot of the other stuff that, thanks by the way to Ken over at Celestion for always supporting what we here. Dating back a long ways. He was actually quite happy to hear that we were on to something new here. And I'm happy to be checking out some of their stuff. So in this particular case, I'm using their in-house G12 Lynchback 412 closed back cabinet. And I'm using the 421-57 mix blend, if you will. So no boost, but I'm going to put one in. And this is the X Drive. If you're aware, the X Drive is from Wavemind. Go and check it out. It is pretty awesome. Ooh, that's angry with me, isn't it? Oh yeah, it is. That's real mad at me right now. I hear you, and I'm gonna kill that noise even a little bit more. It's real mad at me. A lot of noise happening right now for some strange reason. I don't know what that reason is. A lot of noise happening though. It's angry. That's fine. It can be angry. We'll move along. I'm gonna go into the Celestion stuff and try out the, it's not exactly, I'd have to use a fuzz pedal for that. And I'm going to wait for this. I just got the Celestion Tony Iommi dual cab pack. Man, I'm excited about it. It features two cabinets and it's got a 1990 cabinet and then an old cabinet from like the 60s. I just realized that when I tried to download a bunch of their stuff, I had like this browser blocker. When you try to download multiple files, it's like, whoa, stop, block. So I'm just realizing that only the first cabinet went through. So I'm gonna have to go back and download that later. We're gonna check out the Sur Vintage 412 and we'll check out that same mix that was just rocking there. That's definitely giving me more of a vintage vibe, definitely, because it says vintage right on it. Of course it does. Yeah, it's still pretty mad at me. I'm trying to see if maybe that was kind of me over there, but that doesn't sound too bad, and that's fine using older cabinets for more modern. I'm just gonna have to do it accordingly. Now you turn that, if you hit that mode switch, so you guys get the idea of what it's providing here. It sounds pretty good. Everything is on the level. We're going to move from amp sim to amp sim a little bit as we go as well, showing you guys that, hey, at this point, you don't necessarily need to buy all the plugins. You can just go, even if it's like sale time and you're like, shit, I've only got $100. And you might say only $100. $100 is still a lot of money these days. But say you only have $100. That's what you saved up to go on your spending spree for, Black Friday sales and everything else that happens from your favorite developers around this time of year and the oncoming month or so. Now, what I would suggest here, sorry, I just wanted to look at the file I had loaded. I thought I had loaded up something that wasn't loaded. Anyways, what I would do is if you're saying there, well, I've got $100 and I want to maximize that $100 in tone. So what I would go do there is I would go and buy a whole bunch of like a variety of IR packs from different developers or the same one, and then kind of go from there. That's kind of what I would do. What I would suggest to. We're gonna check out. While I'm at it, it's reminding myself we got to check out some of the ML Sound Lab. Other formats. I don't want other formats. Okay, Genti. We're gonna go with this is the Hesu. I think it's a Hesu 412. Hesu. Now that sounds like exactly where I parked my car for this particular amp sim. I'm also going to turn off the boost pedal for a sec. I'm going to turn edge back on. That edge, that basically just makes it feel like gives it that angle vibe where you don't really need a boost. You know what I mean? So in that particular case, I know I don't need a super aggressive boost. I am going to go with the X drive, but I'm going to dial everything back a little bit. Yeah, buddy. 100%. Crunk is a good surprise. John Petrucci. But this prize one is by KSR Amps. KSR Amps? Like Rhodes? Oh, shit. Rhodes made an IR pack? No, really? I wish somebody would just back a dump truck up to Kyle Rhodes' KSR's house or a shop and just be like, we want to all the amps. That would make me so happy if like the next fully licensed realistic amp sim from Neural DSP was like the Colossus. I'd just be like, yeah! It's one of those amps, guys. I think it's called the Colossus, if I'm not mistaken. It's a bunch of their amps kind of put into one big ass deal. Ooh, that would be fun. I just got another email today about some amps that are coming this year. There's a license deal that someone just told me about that's going to blow your minds. There's a really, really good developer that just got the license for a really cool amp, analog amp builder. Guys, holy shit, 2025 is already shaping up to be really fantastic. I've already tried 2 plugins that are coming out in 2025 that are both really cool. I know about 5 to 10 other ones off the top of my head. Have to be more like 10. And man, there's just so much awesome coming in 2025. It's really going to be one of those years where you're going to want to shop sales, shop smart, and don't blow all your money for the year, your budget right away, because there's going to be stuff coming out all year like banger, 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 banger. And for those of you that are out there that have been doing this for a long time, if you're out there and you're like, oh, fuck, dude, I have so many amp sims already. Yeah, well, we're collectors, and stuff is going to continue to come out. Like, people are going to continuously have great ideas for stuff that's been done for a really long time, like a whole bunch of different times. And you're going to get license deals now. You're going to start to get overlapping licensing deals where one developer had the license and did a whole bunch of amps for that particular builder. Then the contract ended. They bring it over to here. This developer says, I want to do, say this, okay, let's start again. Say this developer did 5 amps. 5 amps, we'll say from a certain company. They did 5 amps and their contract ended. This next developer that gets that license is going to say, well, I don't want to do with all the amps they did, but I really have to do at least that one that they did. So you might see that overlap of like 1 or 2 of the amps, and then that new developer is going to do maybe 2 or 3 more on top of that. 2 or 3 new ones that haven't been done before. So man, I'm excited because some of my favorite companies are bouncing around. Analog companies rather are bouncing around from developer to developer that I enjoy. So we get to win. You might be thinking that sounds like some pretty cutthroat business. Yeah, it is. Don't for a second think that this business here isn't sure. It is. It's a tough business, very competitive, and there are definitely developers that really like each other, and there are definitely developers that really do not like each other. And you can see which ones those are by the competition and the things that they're doing. Okay, so this cab rips. This is the Jesus Demon, aka the RX Damon 60 from ML Sound Lab. And this is a company that has been around for a long time. This is going to be a company that has been around for a long time. And ML Sound Lab, let's say that like a human being. ML Sound Lab has been around for a while. Is start making cab sections for Neural DSP products. That is where that company came from. Ever heard of them before? They hit the market, and that was who they were. And that was just immediately from day one. This was the company that was making the cabinet sections for some of the Neural DSP products up until, I believe, Archetype Nolly. Prior to that, prior to the Nolly plugin, it was all ML Sound Lab, I believe. And then Nolly, and after anybody's guess, I know Nolly did their cabs for a little while. I don't know who's doing them now. Maybe it's still Nolly. Maybe it's somebody else. I have no idea. But that was the story of how ML Sound Lab got started. And then when the split happened between Neural DSP and ML Sound Lab, and they just kind of parted ways, that was roughly the time that ML Sound Lab started doing their plugins. As for their plugins, we're not really discussing their plugins today. We're discussing their impulse responses. And in my personal opinion, their impulse responses are some of the best ever made. It just is what it is. They are some of the better. I can't say they're not. Even though, whether you like or dislike, some people like, there are people who like and dislike me and every other face of every other YouTube or every other company. Now, Miko, whether you like him or you dislike him or you find his sales pitches what they are, if you're on that bus or you're on that wagon or not, doesn't really matter. The fact remains that his IRs are fantastic. They are. Flat out. He has some of the best IRs I have ever used. And that's me. But that said, there are a lot of other companies that sit in that level, at that level rather. For me, there's probably 5 or 6 different companies that sit right along with them as the best there ever, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. And that just is what it is. So even going between these 3 little mixes that they have here, the blends. Those 3 alone sound very different. So you can see where I'm going with this. You don't have to spend money on new plugins. Spend money on IR packs instead. Build your collection. If you don't have a collection yet, and you're out there, if you're out there and you don't have an IR collection, you just have plugins. And there are a lot of people like that don't really mess with IRs because they don't really know what's what and what's this or that. And if that's the case, if you don't really know what the mics are, the positions, etc., look for the blends and the mixes. That's a really good way of getting started with any company, is listen to their blends or their mixes and stuff like that inside the packs, and then finding the microphones that you really like and that really make sense to your ears is also very important. So learning the differences between the different microphones is also kind of paramount knowledge for any guitar players. So when you're going through an IR pack, or if you're going through a cab section in a plugin, you actually know what you're looking for, instead of being like, well, what's this? 1 2 1 2 1. I don't know. 1 2 1. What's 1 8? What's this? What's 5 7? What's this? Don't understand. What's 4 2 1? That was me at one point in time. Because at one point in time, I had really only ever used a Shure 57 to mic a cabinet, one or two of them. That's really all I ever really used when I was operating my own little home studio, or helping out bands, or working shows, or being on the road. I only ever really worked with 57s. And so when I got into IRs about 20 years ago now, I just started learning more and more and more and more. But I'm really also glad that we have Eddie on our staff and all the experts we have on our staff that are way smarter than me when it comes to IRs and IR creation, etc. And then we have Dr. Bonkers, who's like our senior advisor. He's not on our team. We just have coders and advisors and stuff, people that we go to when we need an expert opinion on something. Explain this to us in layman's terms in a way that we can deliver to our audience. He is one of the people that we go to. So, we're just loving this tone so far today. I am using the X Drive from Wavemind, the Nembrini Audio Crunk, and for an IR, I'm using the ML SoundLab RX Damon 60. And here is the resulting tone. That sounded good. I like rounded as well. But I realize with rounded, I'm going to have to take a poke at some of the mids. I'm going to take a little bit of presence and top end up a little. You might be thinking to yourself right now, well, the one was rare. One had a lot of that top end, and the other one, this one is a little more bland. And as it says right in the file, rounded. What does rounded mean? What is rounded good for? Well, a file like rounded here would be good for a really bright amp and a very bright pickup, like exactly what we're using right now. The L5 XL from Bill Lawrence USA is a very bright pickup, very, very bright. And on top of that, the Crunk amp here is quite bright, especially with the edge switch engaged. So yeah, this is we kind of need this file right now a little bit. Little out, we're gonna toot. Guys, I can honestly tell you that coming on here today and focusing my mind on this is exactly what I needed. Solved my problem that I was dealing with all day, and that was just overthinking. You guys ever overthink issues in your life? Yeah, well, that's what I was doing today. Just overthinking things for absolutely no reason other than to occupy my mind with something dumb. Man. So, who's out there? Oh my gosh, we have 2 people. This is a slow stream today. This is a slow one. This is definitely a slow one. I don't know where the boys are today. Who we got here? I know I'm on YouTube, but... Oh, wait a second here. Okay. Hold on a sec here, boys. All right. We're back. And I don't know how to get this back. And here we are. Weird. This is just a weird setup. I need something more permanent. Oh boy, what happened there? Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. All right. Love this song. I had one person tell me in a comment that was later deleted that they didn't like ska. Okay. Sounds good. I'm glad you don't like ska. Don't like ska much. I didn't reply to it, and then it just sort of went away. Man, this is a great riff. You've never tried to play, or if you've never played the Bark at the Moon riff, or tried to play Bark at the Moon in its entirety, I would like to do that. All right, who's out there? Wow, one person here today. Woo! We're slow as fuck today, boys. All right, we're going to get this out there anyways, because we've been getting about 100 views. That's cool. I don't do this for views necessarily. I do this for fun. And for those of you out there that would like what we do, hey, like and subscribe. We are going to be here regardless. Sometimes it's busy. Sometimes it ain't. And all good. It doesn't bother me at all. All right. So I have a question for you guys. Do you guys follow Metal Month? If you guys are a long-time user, long-time plugin user, you'll have been, I guarantee, you'll have owned at least one Toontrack product. Toontrack, I want to preface this. Toontrack is a fantastic fucking company. A very much fantastic company. Metal Month is something that no other developer does. No other developer out there puts a shit ton of work towards 1 month of only metal, putting out a ton of work into those things. But Metal Month has sort of started to get I really feel like Toontrack needs to expand what they're at right now. I really feel like they could go outside of just the Easy series. A lot of people really like that Easy series, and if you're one of those people that likes Easy Drummer, I'm gonna caution you. Don't waste your money. I know it's easy, and I know it sounds good, but just buy Superior Drummer, save up the money, forego some Easy Drummer purchases for a while, save up the money, get yourself Superior Drummer. You will be happier. I promise you'll be happier. You'll learn more about drum production. You'll learn more about how to tweak things. The presets are all there. The preloaded, pre-EQ'd stuff is all there for you. The way more presets, better sounding presets. Everything sounds great. And your recordings will thank you later. I promise. I promise that will happen. Easy Mix. I don't advise anybody really getting into Easy Mix. It's not one of those things that I don't think anybody needs Easy Mix. It's just not one of those. Everything Easy Mix does, apart from like some of the guitar stuff, is okay, I guess. But it's just not one of those things that are for me. Easy Drummer, I think, is cool. I'm not saying it sucks. I'm just saying it's one of those. If you're gonna buy it, consider not buying it and then just upgrading later. I don't know if they even do it. Do they still do a cross-grade bundle? There was an SDX last year. Sorry, I went back to the group chat. It was like, is anybody coming here? I'm bored and alone. Oh, dude, if you're talking to a sales rep, like, dude, do it. I'm literally just seeing who is around. I appreciate you. It's always nice to have at least a couple staffers in here so that I can so people in the comments don't feel neglected by my just sort of floating once in a while. Superior Drummer is the shit. It really is. And yes, it's more expensive, but if you were to forego, they release a lot of Easy X's. I saw this one guy in the comments of one of the Toontrack one of the ads, and he says, he said he had 12 Easy Drummer libraries. 12 Easy Drummer libraries. Dude, that's like $1,500 or something, isn't it? That's a lot of money. And by the side, this is where we're talking about with expansions. Even if you're to talk about the overloud THU and all the rig player and how they have so many expansions for the rig player. Once you get a lot of rig packs in, or with anything where you're buying the DLC, You gotta watch with that stuff. That DLC adds up, and before you know, you've got like $1,000 that's like invested inside one plugin. You're like, whoa, you know what I mean? And the next they do be careful with that, with those microtransactions. That's not what that is, but still. Anyways, the DLC stuff can be kind of weird, but there are also SDXs as well. Obviously, last SDX I didn't buy because, and I really want it. Guys, I really want it, but I haven't bought it yet for two reasons. I don't have a hard drive big enough for it. I don't. I have to get a new SSD if I want to use that plugin. So the Death in the Darkness one that came out a few years ago is going to have to do for now. Yes, that Area 33, and then they came out with another one actually, Eddie. There was the Area 33, and then they did like another one on top of that was like I don't know if is it a separate plugin or was it an update or an upgrade? I can't recall exactly. I think it's two separate plugins, and one of them was done. You'd have to go look it up. I don't want to misquote. In any event, Metal Month is pretty cool, but I want to caution everyone on the easy plugins. Caution on the easy plugins, because if you're doing it with the intention of making your own music, you are kind of stuck with that hardwired drum sound. That is a drum sound you're kind of going to be stuck with. And if you're loading up, say if you're also using easy bass on top of that, that's a bit of a different story, because you can still get in there with an EQ and kind of do things, a little bit of work. But with something like an easy drummer, there's not a lot you can do to waver from the hardwired baked in sounds. So keep in mind that drum sound is now not only on your album, but that exact same drum sound is going to be on a number of albums. So my point here is with Superior Drummer, you can always go in and change things, change heads, change samples, add samples, stack samples, all kinds of different fun things that you can do to make the drum sound your own. And also, not only that, but not just to make it your own, but to also, you're able to work it along with your other instruments, like your easy bass or your regular bass or your guitar, and that type of thing. And it's like, guys, it's so much more value. There's an infinite amount of value in Superior Drummer. There is in my opinion, there is a very fixed and intermediate amount of value in the Easy Drummer plugins. I think they're a great gateway, and it was my gateway as well. I liked them. I've been using Superior Drummer for a long time, but I did dabble with a couple of the Easy Drummer plugins or Easy X's, and that's just not for me. I found that everything was just too rigid. So that's my review so far. Another thing, guys, drag and drop MIDI. Drag and drop MIDI is your friend. Do not turn away or turn your nose up. If you are not a drummer, programming your drums from scratch is really, really hard, because the velocities, if you don't know drums, velocities are really hard to program properly in order to get the drums to sound real. If you don't know drums, you just plug everything in and all of a sudden it sounds like robot drums, robot drums, robot drums. Everything is at 127. What did I do? You know what I mean? So don't do that. The drag and drop MIDI is where it's at. If you don't have quite the money for the Tune Track stuff, go and get stuff from like Loudstack. There's Ugratone that has closed their doors, but still selling the stuff on the website for a little while. So get there and get the almighty MIDI pack. There's like 4 bajillion drag and drop MIDI things in there for every different genre, and it's played by real drummers, and the velocities are more like real drummers, and so your recording will sound more like it has a real drummer. And who doesn't want that? Let's be honest, drum software is at a point now where it is sounding really, really real, very convincing, especially because the production values of today's modern music have started to gravitate towards using so many samples with real drumming, that now when you're hearing drum software and you're hearing samples in the drum software, your ears are like, I don't know, is it real or not? I don't know. Because when you're listening to modern metal or modern hard rock, etc., it's oftentimes a drummer that's recording to a metronome that is There's probably some not all the time, but there's probably going to be some quantizing going on and some other things. So really, who can tell the difference anymore? I listened to an album. I'm not going to say call this album out, but I recently found out an album I was listening to a lot had used drum software, and I wasn't angry at all. I just said, "What? Really? Good for you, man!" Like, woo. So we're just kind of, what are we doing today? We got way off topic. That's okay. I said at the top of the block here, we were going to talk about we were going to do some discussing of the Metal Month. I think Metal Months are great. I think the drag and drop MIDI's great. I think all the stuff they do for newer producers and young people newer people that want to record their music at home and don't really care that much if the drum sounds are this or that. They just want to put their music down and just kind of start learning. And that's a great way to do it. Do not turn your nose up at Superior Drummer, though. Don't do it, because, man, Superior Drummer is legitimate. You only need a few of those SDXs as well. Get the Death and Darkness. It's very, very good for metal and other really aggressive genres that on one side of it, it's very raw. On the other side of it, it's very polished. It's fucking awesome. The Progressive Foundry, an older SDX, wonderful. There's a lot of them out there. The Metal Foundry, classic, still sounds rad. Metal Machinery from Nick Barker, also sounds rad. There's a lot of stuff out there, folks, so make sure you're doing your due diligence and just, don't get comfortable on that Easy Drummer plateau. Don't get comfortable there. Just kind of go up. Get that Superior Drummer. I'm not being paid by Toontrack, by the way. I could give a shit. They've never given me a damn thing, so I'm not promoting it because they're paying me or because they've ever given me free stuff. Don't care. I just love their stuff, and it has saved me a lot of time, and it has helped me make some really good sounding demos at home, and I'm really, really thankful. I'm really thankful that it exists. So let's move along to a different amp sim here. I'm going to use the L12X. And if you've never used this tiny little dynamo, we're going to use it now, and I'm hoping that you're going to get your fix and you're going to enjoy yourself, because I really like it. I love this one. This is one of my favorites. All right, let's see what we got. Now this one is a darker sounding amp for sure. That's still where I put it. Yeah, good. This is darker sounding, so I'm going to get out of that rounded, go back to Genty, and see what we got. Sounds pretty good to my ears. So far, so good. We're going to bring this back a little bit. All right, and we're going to get this and set it up how I would normally set it up. I guess I've been listening to too much Serious Octane lately. On Serious Octane, three-word band name, something of something plays pentatonic metal. I'm just being fun, guys. Relax. Heavier than Nickelback, but lighter than death metal on Octane. You guys follow that As They Lay Dying stuff at all? I don't remember the last time that I cared about As They Lay Dying, and I still don't. I just really feel that Tim Lambesis should just put that fucking band to bed, go tour his solo projects, go on all the fucking steroids, and just look like an absolute super mutant from Fallout on stage. Just like muscles coming out of his eyeballs, like that big. And then go tour Pyrithion. Can you imagine a Pyrithion Austrian Death Machine double bill with like some really talented studio YouTube guys that are super fast and super tech, and then Tim Lambesis, 6'4", 360 pounds of like, he's looking like Sagat from Street Fighter out there. That would be fucking fantastic. Hear me out. Harm's Way is only popular because that dude is fucking giant and fucking ripped. Am I right? Come on, Harm's Way. It's just an average hardcore band. It's pretty good though, but they're not that great. They're part of their popularity is the fact that that dude looks like a He-Man figure. All right, another storm is coming. A bit worried about that shit, dude. Come on, fuck. We get some good wishes for Pedro. They're really getting hammered out there with terrible weather, flooding, and everything else. Yet he's here, hanging out with us. Thanks so much for being here, Pedro. I would be scared shitless in your particular situation. I don't deal well with impending doom kind of weather. Don't get a lot of it where I live. Some people that live here would think our winters are sort of impending doom, being that it gets to be like minus 40 and such. But yeah, we don't get a lot of extreme weather here that threatens our livelihood. That's something that is a hell that I personally do not know, and I hope to not know. But you know, my friend, a lot of love coming from us here at the whole team. The whole team, buddy. We're all here thinking about you, and we hope that everything comes through okay. Yeah, man, Death and Darkness is smoking. That thing is unbelievable. It's a really, really great kit. That whole SDX, two really great kits. One recorded in, gosh, why has his name escaped me? Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. It'll hit me. It was recorded in a, oh my gosh, it's really irritating that I forgot his name. He's produced some huge albums. Is it Two Madsen? No, it's not Two Madsen Studio. Is it? No, it's not. In any event, he had there was a famous studio located in Europe that was where the drums were recorded famously in a fucking pool. He literally had an old indoor pool. He would park the drums in the pool, and that was part of the sound of that building and the drum tones, the gigantic and really cool drum sounds that came out of this particular studio. And before the studio was torn down, and before he moved and vacated and to another space, they shot the tune track, Death and Darkness SDX. Half of it was shot at that studio, and you can see the pool in the background and everything. It is awesome. That Darkness kit is way, way cool for stuff like thrash, doom, stuff that's a little on the grimier side, grindcore, punk rock, anything. It's great for death metal too, and like more polished stuff. But on the other side of it is the Mark Lewis kit, which, woo, that kid sounds fucking awesome. The Rock Foundry, there's another great one, although Bob Rock made the strange decision to not record any China. No China cymbals were recorded whatsoever in that DX, which kind of bugs me that you have to put one in. It is what it is. I know. That's an entitled problem to have right there. Yeah, man, the US is getting their ass kicked by hurricanes as well. Bad weather for everyone. It makes me wonder why people live in Florida, man. I mean, I know it's nice there. The weather is really warm year round, and I have an idea. So I'm going to go and see. The other good thing about this is now Crunk is not what you'd call it's a one trick pony. It's not what you call super versatile necessarily. Yeah, it's got versatility inside the higher gain realm, but this thing here is not necessarily a high gain amp sim. There's three universes to this. This is the OG. The clean and the metal were actually Audiority's way of kind of demoing some new tech that they're using in a different plugin. So the metal and the clean were not modeled after the same amp that the standard was modeled after. This was modeled after a little solid state Marshall. This and this were actually not modeled after amps at all. These were something that I think Luca came up with in-house. These are kind of in-house made custom amps. And this one is modeled from this little itty bitty Marshall. I do like this one a lot. So we're going to keep contour is awesome as well. We're going to keep going with this, but I'm going to go and showcase the fact that it can do a little bit more than just do the metals and the chugs. So we're going to go here. We're going to go to Celestian. I'm going to go to the Tony Iommi pack. And we're going to go with a couple of these. I've never used this. I want to make that very clear here. I'm going to put in the big stuff. This is the muff from Nembrini Audio. And we're going to kind of rock it something like that. That's an odd sound. Okay, now let's see what we got here. I've got to make sure that if we're going to go with fuzz, we have to take the boost mod off. And this is the Tony Iommi pack from Celestian that just came out. And so the L12X can do just little bits of everything. Wrong pickup though. I haven't played a Sabbath riff in a long time. That is not my favorite Sabbath riff. This is the one I knew I wouldn't fuck up on the spot here, because no one wants that. Let's keep going. These are some dark mixes. Holy. I want to see what just the 57's got for me here. Yeah, buddy. So far, so good here. I'm going to jack some up, middles. Yeah. So the Audio RD L12X is pretty much the most versatile freeware amp sim you're going to find. If you're talking something that's just based on and actually modeled from an amp. Now, the next one we have for you, we're looking actually pretty close to the end of our stream. I'm not sure we're going to get NAMM Universal in here today. We do a lot of talking. That's okay, because you guys have seen a lot of NAMM Universal over the last while. I always try to include it, and it's no secret that if you were to plug your paid IRs into the impulse response section of NAMM Universal, or just bypass it, use your own loader, that's fine too. There's no secret that that's going to work out great. That's going to be just fine. If you haven't tried that already, please do that. I strongly suggest that you do that, because it's probably going to be a lot of fun. This case, I'm using the Tony Iommi pack from Celestian that they just put out. I'm using the Laney 1990 TL412S. And then the other cab in the pack is a significantly older cabinet, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that as well. And I'll probably do that as soon as the stream's over here so that I can get there. Let's stack some pedals, shall we? Let's use this. Let's bring the tone back. And let's stack the Klon Minotaur. Let's stack it up here a little bit. Not going to use a lot of gain, but I am going to turn up the treble and use it as almost like a treble boost out in front of this so that the signal's got a bit more bite when it hits this. Let's check that out. So here's without. And with stacked up. So this is Claude Minotaur is free from Nembrini Audio. The big stuff is free from Nembrini Audio. You can go stack those up and use them as you'd like, or you can just do this instead. Why don't we try stacking the Rat instead? Okay, so without. And with. And that sounds pretty fucking gnarly. Pretty fucking gnarly, boys. I'm very excited about the tones that are happening right now. I'm pretty excited about life in general. Things have changed a little bit. Gosh, coming on here just makes me just in an infinitely better mood. So I'm going to try to do this. I've really been trying to do it as often as I can now, guys, and it's paying off. We got some more people subscribing, like and subscribe. That's the first time I've ever said it twice in a stream before. I really don't like being that guy. If you enjoy what we do here, tell one friend, just one, maybe two, that you think would be really enjoy what we do here. Send them our way. That's all we can really do. Growing organically is exactly how Honest Amp Sim Reviews grew, and is exactly how we're going to grow the Amp Sim universe as well. Man, this is a good sounding little rig, and these are only the things that come around when you build your own signal chains inside your DAW. You will not get tones like this just playing around, even if you're using unless you're using something like Helix Native, which, by the way, is on for half price right now. If you don't own Helix Native, you should. If you have that kind of extra income and you want to splurge on something that's got a lot of gear under the hood, that's almost all really, really well modeled, grab Helix Native. It's a lot of fun. You will not regret it whatsoever. It's a great plugin to have around, even just to have a whole wealth of amps that really don't, and pedals that don't exist in other plugins. They might have the monopoly on having the most onlys, we'll call them. You could get it, but only in Helix Native. There's a lot of that. A little bit less than there used to be, but still a lot of it. So yeah, this is typically when I'm starting to do like a doomy kind of thing. I'll start stacking some things. I'll just start making mean, angry sounds until we're there. So guys, I'm going to take my very quick 3-minute break here. We've been on here for a little bit. I'd like to continue this. I'd like to continue for maybe another little bit, another 20, 30 minutes. I'm actually not going to take the break. I'm only going to stay another 20 minutes. We're not going to do a break today. We're going to run till 6, and then we're going to bail. Man, that is just awesome. I'm really happy with this IR pack. And I know I said to you guys before that, like, you know, I prefer to just not buy any new IR packs. And, you know, just little things start to come out from all my favorite developers. I see people and friends that are doing new packs, and I'm like, fuck, you got me again. I'm back. And another reason that I always suggest having a decent and versatile and spread out IR collection. There's a really good reason for this. Because if you're trying to tone hunt some of your favorite albums, your favorite artists, you need a wide range of cabinets on hand, because you are not going to go and get Slayer tone with a Mesa Boogie cabinet, just like you're not going to go and get Van Halen tone with a 112 Fender impulse response. You got to have, there are a lot of companies out there that also, not just the cabinet itself, but focus on the speakers that are inside it. And that is also a big factor. And then you'll see some companies like Ownhammer, they'll give you one cabinet that's got 4 different sets of speakers in it. And they'll give you that whole different list of all the blends. They'll put 2 and 2. They'll put, all 4. They'll do all the different kind of shit that you need in one pack. And you can get packs that are like that, where it's like very, very in depth, or you can get smaller packs from companies like Bogren Digital, where it's mostly blends, mic blends, amp blends, and things of that sort that are all blended in, speaker cab blends, and all that different stuff going on. So there's a lot out there, depending on what you really want. Are you the type of person that likes 3D cabinet loaders in your plugins? Well, then you're maybe gonna want a little bit more access to more mics, more placement, more positions, and so on. Some companies also, by the way, Celestion also provides open and closed back packs for their different packs, which is interesting. You might be thinking to yourself, well, what's the difference? Why do I want open and closed back? Well, for you and your personal taste, go look that up. Right up here, there's a search bar, and you can type that in, difference between open and closed back speaker cabinets. Eddie might be able to help you on that one as well. But for the most part, it's going to be like, it's going to be up to you. Wow, we got 8 people in here, but man, the chat's slow-ski. If you're in the chat, say hi, say what's up. Sometimes the chat freezes as well, so we got to make sure she's still rolling. So if you're in here, say hi. I'm going to be here for about another 15 minutes or so. If there's any particular IR pack that you'd like me to try out today, just let me know. I'm happy. If I have it, or if there's a company that you guys are interested in, and you want to know more about, you want to know if that's where your money should go, hey, let me know, and I can help you with that as well. Hello. Just realized the band I'm listening to and myself were both in C. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure about C tuning. I like C. I like C sharp, maybe more. Not sure. Not 100% sure yet. But typically, when it comes to low stuff, I just like to go in B. I just realize over time that D standard is sometimes tuned a little too high for what I want to do, and then B can be a little too muddy. So this C in the middle, man, it's pretty cool. I've been trying it for about a year now. What tunings are you guys working in? Tell me in the comments. Now, here's the deal. You might be thinking, where am I going to use a file like that? And I have that answer for you right here. We're going to go back. Oops. I'm going to get guitar, Celestion, Tony Iommi, E47. And I'm going to go to this file right here. This is the probably the highest, we'll call it the file with the most high end to it. Now listen. So you have that nice, big, beefy low end that's kind of filling in the gaps and filling space, giving it a little bit more weight. And then you have the top end that's working like the cut, and it's going to work and, kind of hold up that top and make sure everything kind of plows through. All right. So guys, actually, since the missus is home now, I am actually going to get moving so I can kind of be a little bit more productive with the rest of my evening. So guys, thank you so much for being here. It was about an hour and 15 minutes or something like that. I don't know. But we went through today the point and the purpose of this stream. Very, very clear. You don't need to go and buy the newest and the latest and the greatest amp sims. Sometimes all you need is to go and buy some new IR packs to feed into the beasts that you already own. And that is just the way it is. You will get lots of value, and you might get that IR pack for $11 instead of going and stressing out and saying, I don't have $129 or even $50 or $60 to go and buy an IR pack. You can do that. And it's, if you don't have to go and buy a plugin, rather, you can go and buy an IR pack for maybe during sale prices $6 or $7, and then plug that in to your favorite amp sim and give it all this new life and new sound, and new things will come out of it. I promise, guarantee it. Some plugins, I will admit, some plugins play better with IRs than others, but most plugins these days, when they're researched and when they're developed, most of these developers, if not every developer these days, is trying their plugin with a multitude of IRs from all kinds of different developers, just to make sure everything works and sounds good and resonates and everything like that. So, all right, everybody, thanks so much for being here. It was my pleasure. I don't know if the comments broke halfway, but nobody said anything in a little bit. I don't know. Maybe something was wrong, because it did happen about a month ago. So, yeah. Thanks a lot for being here. My challenge for you guys today is just go and shop around. Not shop around, but window shop. Look through a bunch of different IR devs and find a couple of companies that have sales. Just go buy something, even like $5, $6. You might get a pack you really, really like. Dr. Bonkers, Own Hammer, York Audio. There's so many out there to choose from. Celestion, as mentioned, and a lot of them are probably going to have sales around Black Friday, or what's the other one? Cyber Monday. Watch those sales too. All right, guys. Cheers. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys next time.